Olá, esse é o Stratcast B2B Powered by LinkedIn Sales Solutions. Meu nome é Fernanda Nascimento e hoje a gente tem convidados internacionais. Estamos gravando diretamente aqui do RD Summit, no live show do RD Summit. LinkedIn está com a gente. Hoje a gente tem dose dupla, 2 heads do LinkedIn. Vou trocar para inglês e a gente vai começar essa conversa. So let's switch to English. So I have the pleasure of having you both here. So Randy, you are global head of sales solutions,
Yeah.
right?
EMEA and LATAM. Yes.
Okay, LATAM.
Yeah.
EMEA and LATAM. I love both. And Sandro, that's been with us before, head of
I lead the Latin business.
Latin business. That's it. And we're going to talk, because we've been talking about technology and how AI and technologies are changing the way that the sales force is working and how it's giving us a new potential for making businesses. But I'd like to ask you this time more about how we make all this technology tangible, how it transforms my daily work into something more efficient, and how can I get closer to my customer better? Is it possible to personalize? And I think that's something that everybody that's listening to us or watching us in the videos or in the other podcasts are asking themselves. So how do we make it?
I'm happy to jump in. So when I think about personalization, one way to look at it is, where do you spend your time as a seller or as an executive who's leading sellers? And in the current world, or in a world with minimal use of AI, we spend an awful lot of our time working on administrative tasks, things to prepare yourself for the sale, right? Things that need to be done, but they're not about the personal interaction that is actually going to win the business and create long-term relationships. And I think that's the power of AI, is it allows you to use technology to do some of those administrative tasks, whether it be around research, forecasting, identifying potential connections that you want to make personally. We have all of those activities that can happen behind the scenes using technology, and that frees up our time so that we can invest in the thing that really matters, which are having great conversations with the people who matter.
That's great, because actually, I don't know, but we've been talking in the last studies that I've read, we talk about like 70% of the time of the salesperson is used to bureaucratic issues and all this stuff. And I won't say anything about CRM, okay? But we know that we should be selling, but we are not. We are taking care of administrative things, right?
Yeah, well, and I think in order to add to what was said so far and what you mentioned, it's about 32% of the seller time is actually spent selling, and the rest is elsewhere. Let's call it that way. And but I think what Randy brought is extremely important in terms of thinking. How can I help? How can we help the customers to be more? How can I engage better? And to do that, so I have to spend more time with them. So if I can free some of the 68% that's tied elsewhere, I have much more time to have a real understanding, the real engagement that we are looking for, the one that will actually personalize that relationship in something that's going to be a long-term relationship, not just I'll call it a quick solve or something that a painkiller or medicine or anything like that, but it's something that's going to last. So I think in that perspective, like everything that like AI, it will be a very powerful help, but not only in terms of freeing the time, but also feeding me or feeding the sellers with much more information that will be strategic on those conversations that will.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think even at LinkedIn, we probably emphasize the relationship part of having meaningful conversations with people who meaningful conversations with people who matter, but that meaningful part is critical. And in order to do that, you need to be able to bring to the table information and insights that are relevant and important to whoever it is you're selling to. So again, if you can use artificial intelligence to gather that information and help synthesize that information and give you some potential insights, you can take that and you can craft it in such a way that makes sense to your audience. But it does allow you, again, to take a lot of the administrative work that is super important, automate it, then we can personalize it. That's a human activity for the audience that we're speaking to. So now we don't just have the fact that we're talking to the people who matter, we're talking to them about things that matter to them. And that is critical.
And because if you take like 10 salesmen, not right now, and ask them to make a sort of elevator pitch, they're probably bringing lots of, product features and things that matter to them, but not to the audience. And there is something in that I like the most is that, and you said it in a brilliant way, that people don't want to buy from a brand.
No.
People want to buy from another person. And that makes all the difference, because people usually, it's kind of something that humans do, that people care about other people. So I like it a lot.
Yeah, no, I agree entirely. The human element, it's in our DNA, right?
Yeah, it
And to
is.
try to fight against that is, I don't think, a very winnable approach to selling and building businesses.
How does LinkedIn help me on that? I'd like to make it more touchable, because I know I love to see all the initiatives that you have and the evolutions of the tools, but, practically, how does it happen?
I'll bring it a little into the product level. So, in terms of first, I will help. I'll take a step back
Okay.
because I'll help. We will be able to help the sellers first identify to whom should they talk. But I'm not talking about persons. I'm talking about. So imagine that I'm a seller and I got a list of potential companies that I can sell to. Because one of the things that I need is that obviously I need to be, I need to be relevant. I need to talk to the right person, but I also need to talk to the right person in the right moment.
Yes.
So the first thing we can help, and that's with sales insights, is like which companies are in the most likely moment to be approached, because they're either growing, because they're going to another market. So we can help our sellers to identify those signals that will show. Maybe, don't start your book of business alphabetically and actually make it word, right? So those are the companies, and those are the that makes more sense to be approached right now, because they're in a moment that they will need your help. So that's the first step. So that's one platform, and that's the sales insights. And then once you understand, let's say I got 10 companies out of there, and then when we look into when we look into the sales navigator, that will help you to have that intelligence. So it will help you first understand to whom should I talk in those companies. Now we know that we've been seeing in the last 10 years the number of people that are involved in the sales process, it literally doubled. So we're talking about almost 12. Now it's 11.4 today. Even a bit more. It depends what kind of industries or. So to whom should I talk? Who are those 11 people, and which kind of interests? And I think that's one of the biggest new insights that we can bring with AI, is that, do I know them? Is there anyone that will make me talk to them easier? Is that someone that can make a warm introduction? Did they recently change jobs? Because they're most likely to receive my outreach, for example. So there's many insights that can be brought by the artificial intelligence. in that stage itself. But also remember that the platform, if I start following those companies, if I save those search, so if I save everybody in that, all the 11 people that I need to talk to, every publication they do or any movement that the platform identifies uh, that's strategic to me, I will be informed. So it will help me to also create that information, or actually I'll say help, it will help educate me to have that strategic conversation that also will be impactful for the client.
So LinkedIn tools, they work for me, and like they make the scenario that I can analyze and act.
Exactly. So it will
Perfect.
help you, yeah, exactly. So it will help you identify, but also will help you to have what we call the actionable insights.
Action. I love this term, actionable insights, because they mean a lot.
One thing I would add, so Sandro mentioned the fact that people who change jobs are more likely to accept your outreach. And the number is actually 60% more likely,
Wow.
right? Now, your reaction was exactly my reaction. That is an incredible insight. You can build an entire strategy around that.
Yeah.
But imagine now, without the aid of intelligent technology, having to go figure out exactly who has changed jobs. So you can take advantage of that insight, right?
Sure.
It would be a massive undertaking without AI-enabled technology to assist you in applying that strategy.
And it's not only that, because like I'm very used to use Sales Navigator, and we already have something like see the last people that changed a job, the 30 last days, or the ones who posted in the last 30 days, and it's okay. But now we evolved and brought new features to LinkedIn sales tools, and that's amazing. I'd like you to tell me what's new, because I think it's gonna change the way we are using Sales Navigator and LinkedIn Sales Insights from now on.
Well, I'll jump in here again. It's we just launched it yesterday, two new features.
I need to see it yet because
Yeah.
I haven't.
One is
I
the
want to see it.
IQ. IQ, it's a feature that, imagine that I will have a meeting with you. So I will, what IQ will do is that we'll create an executive report about your company, which will help me to understand, like who you are, what challenges you have, what the market looks like, and a lot of information that will probably take you a certain investment of time going elsewhere and researching from different platforms. So I have that quickly. And I think that's actually what we were discussing earlier. That's actually one of the things that AI will do to free more of my time to have those conversations that matter. So that's one of the features that's launched yesterday. And another one is account mapping. So what you're saying that, okay, I already had some alerts, but now not only now I have those alerts, but when I'm mapping a company, I can build that inside of the company, and I can leverage the entire company relationship. So imagine that I'm building that mapping of the account, and that information is embedded in each one of those contacts per se. So not only I know now, for example, if a person in that mapping has recently changed job, but I also can see it. How can I do a warm outreach? Is there anyone in the company that had studied with that person, worked with her in the past? Is there anyone that is in my network that actually can help me to reach to that person in a much more warm way than I'm just sending a message directly without. So that mapping brings in the power of the network itself, but with the AI embedded, it brings the intelligence in a very, very tangible and easy way for the user to perceive.
And it's not only to actually free my time, but lots of times I do not do, for instance, what QI is doing, because or I don't have time, or I missed it, or I'm going to the client, and I try to, when I'm the in the car. I try to make a quick review of what he's doing, try to see what is in his posting, just trying to figure out what I missed.
Yeah.
And it's of
And
course
so
it's
now,
not very
so now
well
in the car,
done.
you'll be able to press the IQ button, and it will have
And
that
it's
right
so
there. Yeah.
it's amazing. It's amazing. And it's other thing that I sometimes I take hours trying to figure out how I'm gonna get a better approach, and so of course it's making my life as a salesperson easier and better than that, accurate, because
Accurate, and also when you think about how each of us do research on a company or a customer, we do it based on what we know and what we're used to and how we're used to doing it and what
It's
resources
limited.
we're used to accessing. With artificial intelligence, it can start to experiment with other sources, other approaches, other areas of interest. Now, you may find them useful, you may not, but it's experimenting on your behalf, and it may open up ideas and insights that you wouldn't have thought of on your own.
so it makes me more it makes me smarter as well.
Yeah, it gives
But
you
I
some
like
artificial
it.
intelligence.
Well, in this show, we've been watching and listening to customers saying how happy they are using LinkedIn sales tools, sales solutions, and how their results are reaching incredible, new limits that they haven't actually imagined before. So I'd like you both to give me one example of, if you don't need to say the name of the customer or the client, but which results impressed you along the way, while using the LinkedIn or seeing customers using LinkedIn sales solutions?
Oh, before I go there, I think this, and I mentioned that to you earlier. There is Forrester recent did a ROI analysis. So it's the break even is about 6 months, and then you reach 300 plus ROI in a 3 year period.
3 years.
So that's quite impactful just by saying it, right? But what I've seen with the clients, and I think is the like it's cultural transformation, because you're changing the way, and I think that's probably one of the most impactful things, because you're changing the way they actually sell. And one thing that I think is extremely important to bring into the table as well is that not only that, but we're improving the performance, because we help. If you look into a regular, say, a sales team, you probably have like 30% which are middle to low performers. You got 6% which in the middle and 10% which in the top. So we're always trying to pull more of the top so you can try to cover the gap. But I think what I've been noticing with those clients, uh, and I've seen in different sectors, so in more than one, is that we're helping them to move that middle curve, and moving that middle curve slightly, let's say 5% to the right towards the top performance throughout the sales navigator with the artificial intelligence. We've noticed a 70% more impact in terms of results than if I just try to move the top performance. So for the top performance itself, it's great because they now have
Sure.
tools that actually make their lives easier, because they were already doing the research, they were already understand the power of engagement, they were doing that what Randy was telling. So let me see, out of those people that I have to talk, who is actually new to the company. So now their lives are much easier. But I'm actually moving that 6% towards that the same habits, let's call it like that, of the top performance, and that is extremely impactful to the clients in terms of results, but also in terms of culture, changing the way they sell. And I think that is what I've been noticing here, and in different sectors. I've seen the finance, telco, tech. So I won't say client's name,
Yeah, sure.
but I've seen that movement happening quite quickly. And as soon as you're next, if you're sitting here, the person sitting next to you, you start understanding that. You see that movement, that 6% moving towards the top, and that's quite impactful.
Good.
I love that, and particularly as a sales leader, obviously that's super interesting to me. Another area, and this is more a use case than a specific customer. We have a number of customers that have benefited from Sales Navigator and LinkedIn in the way that I'm about to describe, which is when you think about well-established companies who have a deep penetration in their core market, and they're trying to figure out how are we going to grow from here. We've really penetrated our market, and typically the answer was we'll go into other markets. That could be different industry verticals, different geographies, whatever the case might be. But the prospect of having to just completely turn over or extend your sales force in order to do that is a very expensive and risky proposition, because you've got this sales team there already who has all of this domain experience. They understand your product, they understand the value proposition, they understand the processes necessary to sell the product. What they don't know is the network that they need to tap into in this new market. So when we can use things like Sales Navigator to take these great sellers who understand your product and understand the value proposition and allow them to extend their network so they can start selling into other markets to help you grow. I mean, that's just a compelling activity that goes on with a number of our customers.
And it's, I've actually seen lots of cases happening here in Brazil, especially, and not only in those markets that are like more likely to succeed with LinkedIn sales solutions like telco or technology, but construction. They have great cases in construction, and people would say to us, it's impossible. Construction is not online, but they are. And now you're seeing some results as well in automotive and in other markets that are not tech, as the traditional tech market is. But the behaviors are changing, and it's good that we are giving to those traditional sales guys technology, and they understand that it's good for them, because sometimes they were resistant, but now they understand that it's good for them, because you change the culture, you change the way. And I love your example.
And I think on those, I will call not traditional, but not because they're not traditional markets, just because they are out of the radar. Everyone talks when they talk about like finance, telco, and tech. Those are the most common. But I think what you brought in is super valuable, because usually the ticket, like the sales ticket, is really high when we talk about construction or, let's say, medical, like super expensive. Yeah, those. So that's also impactful, because when we see with the Sales Navigator the ability to help map, or like imagine you're gonna sell a product that's a few $1 billion, like a medical product. So, or like so is that, or a machine for construction, or a set of machines that are really high ticket. So you have to really understand who are those 11 people that we were talking about. So that's what we see transformation in that industry, which is, although it might be traditional on the sales, and it used to be more traditional, but now they have to expand their understanding of everyone else on that consensus process that they need to reach for.
I'll take a risk here, and I would say that we are making those teams more professional, indeed, because they used to work with the relationship would be more friendship, and we are bringing it to a new level of relationship that's more professional. Is the trusted advisor, the person who gives the right advice, I would say. And it's very rich to the industry as a whole, because you make it more, you leverage the way they work, and the sales force is performing. Love it. I have no words to thank you both. We are very delighted that you are here with us, and with all the information that you've been offering to us. It's been really really a great experience, Randy. Thank you for all of it. And you, Sandro, for being such a good partner to us and
Appreciate it.
always happy and very open to share your experience and everything that you collect around.
Always a pleasure to be here,
clients.
Vic.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And
Deeply
thank you for having
appreciate
me.
it. Yeah.
And thank you that has been with us, reading the subtitles or not. And you're going to be back very soon with a new series of episodes of Stratcast with LinkedIn Sales Solutions. Thank you.
Thank you.
both.
Thank you.